talk is logos, fonts, branding, all that stuff. Nobody actually cares about it if you're in a service based industry for the most part. I've never seen it actually matter a whole lot in my experience. 9 years as an executive marketer, haven't seen it matter a whole lot. Usually, the people that think most about a logo, about brand identity, and about color are typically the people that work for that brand. It's very interesting. A lot of times we forego execution because we're fixated on these minor details, like what the color swatch should be, what font we should use on the thumbnail, what font we should use on the logo, rather. Not a lot of that really matters. Trust me, not a lot of that really matters to the consumer. You want to make sure that you convey yourself in a manner that's professional, that's clearly deliberate, time was taken on the actual design. You don't want it to look like you just opened up MS Paint and freehand your logo, though that could be effective. That's actually something that you see a lot of time in advertisements looking for a graphic designer. They'll use that to get the attention. It's very effective. So I guess really what you're looking for is effectiveness. But I find a lot of people, they just delay execution because they're fixating over this brand identity. You'll see it in different pitch decks, and it's not a negative thing. It's just seems like it prolongs the entire process. Not everyone's going to care or even recognize what font you used in your design or in your brand. It's not that important as much as people think it's important. It's important to themselves. And that's another thing in different content. You'll see people are constantly just putting their logo all over everything. And that's kind of weak. It's kind of scarcity minded. It's a little bit scarcity minded. You're thinking as if you don't put your logo on everything with your URL and all that, your branding, so to speak, that people won't find you. Trust me, if people want to do business with you, they're going to find you. What up, Mang? Got my pal here in the chat. One of two people watching, so at least I'm not talking to myself now. The point is that you don't have to plaster your logo on everything, especially if you're an emerging brand, you're just starting out. In my opinion, that looks kind of weak, a little bit weak. People don't even know who you are yet, and constantly on all of your content you have a tag. Trust me, if people want to do business, they're going to find a way to do business. You don't need to put the logo on everything. It looks a little bit try hard, it looks a little weak. And you might not even have the logo made because you're too worried about what font you used, or you're still looking through all the color swatches on what to use. What up, Tyler? All that does is it prolongs the inevitable. People don't take action. They're waiting for this perfect time, this perfect launch, the perfect font, the perfect illustration for your logo. It doesn't matter. People don't care about the logo. How many of you care about the logo for your mechanic where you take your car? How many of you care about the logo for a lawn care company that you might use? How many of you care about the logo on the aspirin that you buy? You don't care. Yeah, brand recognition, that's important. But we're in a digital space now, man. And it's easier than ever to do business with people. You don't need to fixate on the logo, on the colors, on the fonts. Nobody cares about it except for you. And I'm saying that you shouldn't care as much about it. Unless there are certain caveats to this, obviously. If you're trying to be a luxury brand, you want to convey that in your logo. You wouldn't want to use Comic Sans for your font, obviously, or even Papyrus. Those are both overused. I look like I could give you financial advice. Well, Levi, I can give you business advice. I don't really handle the finances. I leave that to the old lady, my wife. I don't worry about finances too much. I bring the money home. That's what I do. I could definitely teach you and give you advice about acquiring clients. That's something that I'm versed in, something that I do on a daily basis. But the point is this, you're never going to have those problems of finance, about branding. About finance if you're never executing your company. Is it more of a corporate concern, branding? Absolutely, because you know what? Corporations don't necessarily have to execute. They already have your money, meaning stockholder money. They have stock money. That's almost like venture capital. I'm talking about small business. I don't have any dealings with corporations. I don't work for corporations. I don't believe in corporations. I haven't had any connection to a corporation since 2008 when I left my meager job at Kmart. mopping the floor at Kmart. That was enough corporation for me. So yes, this is not good business advice. This is not good business advice if you want to go to the corporate world. Because I'll tell you, corporations are nothing but bureaucracy. You might as well just go work for the government if you want to work for a corporation. Because you have the Department of Pencil Sharpening. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be in small business, like my friend Amish Assassins already knows, you got to be a Swiss Army knife, man. You got to be a marketer. You got to be a salesman. You might even be a drywall repairman. I've done that at my office. It's my, sorry about that. It's my office over there. And I have, you see those pillars on the building there, those concrete pillars there. I actually helped lift those up and bring them up there. So just because you're the marketing executive doesn't mean that you're not the laborer for the day either. That's what it's like working for a small business. And I know my friend Amish Assassins, my friend Pete, he knows all about that. You got to be a jack of all trades. You got to wear many hats. And if you don't want to do that, you should go work for a corporation, because you could be in a department. And there's a gamble in either, right? But at least in entrepreneurial pursuits, you're gambling on yourself. Now, if you're going to go to a corporation, you're gambling on the stock. You're gambling on leadership at that corporation. They might fire an executive. They bring in a new executive, and you know what happens? They bring in a new regime. It's much better to either have your own company that you're building, and you're in the trench. You dug the trench. You put yourself in there, and how deep that trench goes, that's up to you, right? Or you go in someone else's trench, another small business, another entrepreneur. You lend your services to them. That's something that I have experience with as well. At least you're in the trench with the general, bro. Like, when you're in the trenches at a corporation, the general's away in some ivory tower, just like real warfare, you know? Got to wear a lot of hats. You have to learn to love it too, like Ric Flair likes to say, right? I see no point in working for a corporation, but yes, we went on this tangent because Pete pointed out that branding is more of a corporate thing, and that's because it's bureaucratic. A lot of things that you're seeing in corporate world right now, and it's going to be democratized, especially with AI and all that. Corporations, they're going to be a thing of the past. People are going to want to do business with people that they know. We already see that through influencer marketing. This stuff is going to be turned on its head. And the only reason that there's still terrestrial TV and broadcast television and commercials on cable and all that stuff is because the ad agencies are justifying their own existence in tandem with the TV companies, like the cable companies and the networks, justifying their own existence. It's like they're playing Monopoly with each other, man, because they're both very irrelevant. The good thing for you, if you're watching the stream right now, is that most of the rest of the world who's actually out there creating and producing, they don't know it yet. They don't realize the shift that's already happened. I realize it because I've been doing YouTube for 9 years, and it's paid every bill I've had for the last 9 years. And that's without YouTube ads. That's not from YouTube giving me a check. That's from me giving myself a check off of YouTube. Okay, so it's different. Don't depend on YouTube for your check, or you're going to still be working for your corporate job, man. But that's the thing, that the corporate world, it's a comfort world. It's very comfortable, but it can be uncomfortable. I'm not taking anything away from them, because you get the wrong executive in there and he doesn't like you, and you don't rub him the right way, you're going to get iced, pal. That's what's going to happen. That's why I don't work for corporations. I don't want to work for a big organization. I'd rather be in the trenches with people whose name is on the building, right? I want to be next to the guy who's actually signing the checks. And that doesn't mean I want to be in the corporate suite. I want to be in the trench, bro. I want to be in small business suite. That's where I want to be. That's where all the fun is anyway. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a seismic shift. People are not going to be working for corporations as much as they used to. We saw this through COVID when they did the work from home, and then they pulled back on work from home. Why would somebody go and make less money to work from an office when they were able to execute? If they might not have been executing. So yeah, those people should be terminated, obviously. But those who did execute effectively from home, why would they want to go work back at an office again? It's going to cost them money. They're going to have to drive. They're going to have to be in that commute. That's costing them time. And if they're actually time management minded, they're going to be thinking about opportunity costs. They're going to be thinking about return on investment, the investment of their time in that commute, the investment of the gas. They're going to have to deal with different personalities at the office, that they might not like or something. Whereas it could just be between Zoom calls, right? You don't actually have to be in that environment, That's the deal. And I'm telling you, If you really want to start your own thing, just start the thing. Don't care about the logo. Half these companies that you know about out there, the current logo is not the original logo. You should go look at Apple's original logo. It was Sir Isaac Newton. It was an illustration of Sir Isaac Newton sitting under a tree. And because that's where the name for Apple came from. Though some speculate it came from Apple Records, which was the record label of the Beatles record label. And the point is this, we're going down a rabbit hole. The point is, your logo doesn't have to be perfect on day one. It's probably going to change. Look at how many times Walmart's changed their logo. Any of you that are old enough remember Walmart had the star in the middle between the wall and Mart. You remember that. And then the whole color changed. They went with orange. They brought orange in. That's just the deal. Your logo is never going to be finished. It can be a work in progress forever. The company I'm working for right now, my main gig, I designed their logo in 20 minutes, dude. Like, it was an afterthought. It just needed to be the URL. We didn't think that much about it. The logo for my channel, Video SEO Club, 20 minutes. I saw it in my mind, what I wanted. It's very basic. It says video, says SEO, says club, and it has a play button in the O of video. Real easy, real simple. It doesn't have to be overthought. And the font is Monster Art. I don't know what you call that. I don't even know how to say the font, because that's how much it actually matters. It doesn't matter. Execution's all that matters. If you're running a coffee shop, yeah, the logo might catch someone's attention, but you know what's really going to catch their attention is all the cool videos you produce for your Instagram or for your YouTube shorts. That's what they care about. They care about the coffee. You can't make it about the brand and all that stuff, because it's so contrived. That's ego worship. That's self-worship, man. No one's going to care about the brand that much. But you can create like a tribal brand. Seth Godin talks about that. That's really what Apple is. It started as a tribal marketing brand, because until Steve Jobs came back in 1997, Apple was on its last legs, man. They were going out of business. But they did have that dedicated tribal element to it. There's a lot of tribal marketing brands out there that people will only do business with that company. Tesla was that way until recently, right? Until people started burning down the dealerships. So now whoever comes up as a challenger to Tesla, they have an opportunity to build a tribal brand off of the people that feel disenfranchised with Elon Musk's political beliefs. Amish Assassins, I don't even really use my logo anymore. No one cares. It's the truth. Nobody cares. It's all about what you can do for them, dude. Like, yeah, I like my Video SEO Club logo. I have a hat that I wear around with it on there for brand rec, I guess, but I don't really think about it too much. The pickleball guys that I work with, like Zane and Jack Monroe, they don't care about my logo. They don't even know what it looks like, probably. They care about what I can do for their company. You know, it's the same thing. Imagine if you were a law firm and you're a really good lawyer. You put in 8 years or whatever. I think it's 8 years of college to become a lawyer. You're probably $400,000 in debt, and you don't want to launch your own practice because you haven't found the right font yet. Most lawyers won't think that way, but if you handle business with a graphic designer and you hire somebody, depending on the curriculum that they were trained in, they're going to care way too much about that stuff a lot of times. When I was in design school, because my degree is in graphic design, though I mean, that's part of being a Swiss Army knife. Graphic designer, video editor, video marketer, phone salesman. You got to be all these things when you're running your own business. But in design school, there were kids that wouldn't turn in work, and we had 4 months or 4 weeks to do the project. They wouldn't turn it in because they couldn't ever figure out what color it should be or what font it should be. It's like, come on, bro. Like, that's just not the way the real world works, man. Like, maybe that's why Pablo Picasso died broke, man. You know, and it's not all about the money, but geez, you gotta live, you gotta survive. That doesn't mean you gouge people. That doesn't mean you make every decision predicated on funds. But man, if your job is not making you money, it's not a job, it's a hobby. You have a hobby is what that is. So the whole reason I did this talk is because it's very hot outside and I can't do my usual walk around this park. So I decided I'd give a little bit of value, hopefully it was valuable, about why sometimes over-fixation on creative elements like logos, fonts, colors, actually puts you in a perpetual cycle where you never actually execute. So let's see what my boy Pete says. The marketing classes acted like it was a huge deal. When you make YouTube videos, your face is your brand. That's true. Or just your vibe if you're faceless, man. Like, I check this video out sometime, Pete, this channel. It's called Wrestle Me. That is a funny channel. It's these British guys, and they're just talking about old wrestling videos. You might have seen it already. I don't know what they look like, but they're hilarious. Half the time I'm not even watching the video. I just have these earbuds in, I'm doing the dishes and I'm listening to it because I remember enough old wrestling to visualize what they're talking about. But that's the point. It's how you deliver, how you execute, the value you bring to people. That's what the brand is. And that's colorless, man. That's a color you can't put a hex code on. So thank you, Pete, for engaging, and I appreciate you being here. I appreciate anyone who this brought value to. I'll see you next time.